Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma Lefave, and today we're on part 2 of painting tulips because I didn't realize how much I'd want to paint them. And we painted 3 last time, but now we're going to be painting some more because honestly, they are so stunning, I can't help myself. So welcome to part 2, and let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, so today we're going to be painting more tulips because I absolutely love doing this. These ones were a bit easier, but there's some more intricate tulips that I'm dying to try. So we're going to give those a shot. I'm painting in my Etralab Cold Press Watercolor Sketchbook. I'm using my Ultimate palette of all of my favorite colors, which is listed in the description below. And I think we're ready to start. So I'm just going to have this open, and I'm gonna actually show you some of the tulips that I want to paint. Like, this is just stunning. Okay, look at this thing, it's incredible. Look at the patterning on this. Like, I've never painted a tulip like this. I don't know how it's gonna go. I kind of have to figure out how I want it to look. I don't even know where to start because tulips are usually like pretty easy shape. This is so cool though. Okay, I'm gonna put it in my vase in front of me though, and then I'm gonna try and paint from that perspective. Now it's gonna be a little bit trickier just because it's so wild, I feel, but we're gonna give it a go. So, okay, I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna start off with a light wash of pink, like very, very, very faint, and I'm gonna try and draw the outline with the tip of my brush. So there's like this center. I'm going to start with the center, I think. Okay. I don't want to use pencil, so I'm just going to do it like this. There's like that center stamen kind of bit, and it has 3 bits to it in the center, like that. And then it has all these other little pollen-filled things. Technical terms here, guys. So I'm just kind of sketching it out. One back here. Okay. And then I'm going to start with the petals. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to go with this. This is so tricky. This video is a bit more of a experimental video, I guess. Okay. So this petal that I'm going to do is kind of like flopping down in front. And it's, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, right? It has these like curves to the edges, and it's very uneven. So it does give you a little bit of grace because it doesn't have to be perfect, right? Okay, so there's that petal. And then there's one here. It kind of flops to the side. So it's going to like come straight up. This is such an interesting tulip. And it flops down like that. And there's one back here, kind of sticks up, but it's a little bit flopped over like that. And we have one that's kind of curved up here like that. And then we have 2 more. This is so cool. You know, just jagged edge, like just the gist of it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfect at all. We're not doing something that's realistic here. We're just kind of trying to get the feel of the tulip, the essence of the tulip. Okay, so now I'm going to fill it in with, I'm going to do 1 petal at a time, I think. And I'm just going to use this really light wash of pink for each petal. Okay. And these, I feel like these edges are just a bit more like wavy. Okay, so it's decently wet. Then I'm going to take my quinacridone rose because it's like basically this color. And I'm going to start at the tip here and I'm just going to drag it back. And it doesn't bleed out too much. Okay, they're like pretty solid lines. Like that. So I don't want to do too much to it. like that. I'm going to grab a little bit of yellow because there's a little bit of yellow in the petal too. And a little bit of green, like a lime green, like that. And I'm going to leave it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the next petal. So just a very light wash of pink. Sorry if you can hear the construction that's going on right across the street, but this is the only time I have to film, so we're going to deal with it, and hopefully my husband is able to edit it out. Okay, I'm going to take my quinacridone rose again, and I'm going to go right down the center of the petal. Always drag your color back to where the biggest part, so when you do wet on wet, and you lift up your paintbrush, the color kind of explodes, right? So I want a more narrow line here, and so I'm going to start there and then drag it here so the explosion is at the biggest part, if that makes sense. Okay? You don't want to drag it to where you want the narrowest part because then it's going to explode and leave you with this big kind of pink explosion. Okay? Little tip. Just going to add a little bit of pink to some of the edges. And then a little bit of that yellowy color, a little bit of green, like so. It almost looks like a very interesting lily, kind of. I don't know. Okay. Very technical with all my words today. You're welcome. All right, let's fill this one in. So I'm trying to make those edges very bumpy, and I'm going to go around the center of this. And again, my quinacridone rose, start at the narrowest part, then drag it down to where you want it to explode. We're just letting the wet on wet kind of do its thing for us. Getting these amazing lines. Get some yellow like that, a little bit of that lime green in there. This is one of the coolest tulips I've ever seen. I'm obsessed with this one. It's so cool. Okay, this petal here, go around that center. That. And then this one's kind of like folded, so you can kind of make it all, oops, see, I went the other way with that line, so see how it kind of exploded more on that side. If that happens and you don't want the largest part there, wash and dry off your brush and kind of mop it back. Bring it where you like, okay? It's not the biggest deal. These are so cool. Okay. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of green. So cool. Okay. And then these last two petals. This one kind of folds, but I'm going to do the fold after. So I'm just going to do it all the same color. Then I might go in with like a shadowy bit later, when we go back to do our detail. I'm just going to leave it like that. A little bit of yellow in there. Let's do this one. Like that, and then there's a bit more green in this one. Okay, and then the center is pretty yellow, so I'm just going to take a light wash of yellow and then just kind of blend it in the center here. And it can blend into some of the petals. And then once that is dry, we will do a bit more detail on some of the petals and the center. Let's do the stem. I grab my sap green, a little bit of yellow here. Actually, this one has a bit of pink in it. So the stem kind of goes right down underneath here. So it's a bit of a browny green, like an olivey green. Like that. And then the leaf is like, I'm going to do it on this side. It's like kind of curvy. It's so pretty. Maybe I'll do another little one behind. Or in front, I don't know. A little bit of dark green. Like that. Okay. So let's let that one dry. And while that one's drying, there's one more that I really want to do. It's so pretty. I'm going to take it out. Hopefully not make a mess all over my desk. Oh no. Okay, that's the kind of one we just did. And then this one, like, look at this one. It's so pretty. Look at those edges. So I want to kind of do like a side version of this one. So that's what we're going to try next. Okay. So in order to do that, and then we'll come back and do detail on this one. Let's start that one. It's like this light kind of yellow, almost like this Naples yellow that I have. So I'm going to use that, I think, to kind of go over, like just draw out the shape. Like that. It's like this warm kind of yellow. So that's the base. I don't want to do the tips just yet. I'm just going to be very gentle with it. Because the tips are very jagged. This is so pretty. Like that. And then one behind there. Okay. So I'm going to do one petal at a time. And I'm just going to wet the whole thing. I want that kind of bleed again. So the bottom is this like soft yellow, kind of like white too. Like this really creamy yellow. So I'm going to do down at the bottom. And then I'm going to do these tiny little strokes. I know it's hard to see. Sorry. It's just such a light color at the tips. Like that. Then I'm going to take my pink, which is more like a magenta, but it's a little bit more muted. I'm going to take a little bit of green, just a little bit. That's too much. Like that. It's a bit more of a muted pink. And I'm just going to, while it's still wet, that's too muted. A little bit brighter. I'm going to do, it has like this pink in the middle. I'm just kind of going back and forth like that. I don't know if that's working. It kind of doesn't look great. I'm going to add a little bit more regular kind of pink to it. It's a little bit brighter. This is a tricky flower because that doesn't look the best. A little bit more pink in there. I'm going to try a little bit more of that Naples yellow, kind of run it into the pink to get it to bleed like that. That's kind of it. I don't know. That's a tricky one. It's not looking the best. All right, whatever. Try again. Okay, so I'm going to wet this whole petal up. I'm going to just kind of skim through or like over the little edges of the other petal so they don't really touch. I'm going to take my color here a little bit more. Like that, and then the edges. Then our pink, like our magenta, right in the center. A little bit more. It's not bad. Maybe when we do a bit more detail on it, when it dries, it might look better. Okay, I'm going to grab that yellowy color again. And I'm also going to have it kind of running into the pink. Like that. Okay. Then, again, that yellow kind of back here for these. Oh, wait, I need to put a light wash down here so I can put pink in there too. And you want to make sure you have a nice brush with a good tip. Okay, let's grab the magenta. Like that. I mean, it's interesting. It's not the best, but it's kind of cool. We'll do a little bit more detail once it's all dry. All right. Now let's just do the stem. Let's have it come down. Like that. Just kind of have it curve. Like this. And then make it a little bit darker. There's a back to it. A little bit of darkness here. I like it. Okay. All right, and now let's make sure everything is completely dry before we continue. Okay, now that it's dry, let's do a little bit more detail. So for this one, I'm just going to take a little bit of that Naples yellow, and I'm going to do some lines. And because it's so light, you won't be able to see too much of it, but it just still gives it that textured look at the bottom. Again, curving with the shape of the petal, and then, oops, I gotta wash that off. I'm gonna grab the magenta, so not too dark, just a little bit, and then just tiny little lines. little bit of shadows. Oops, that's too straight of a line here. Like that. And then the leaves here, if you want to kind of like cross it over, just define some of it a little bit. Just kind of add some texture to it with some lines. It's up to you. All right, and then this one, okay, we need to do the center of this part, and this is like a light kind of green. That, and I'm just going to make it a little bit more dull, add a little bit of pink to it towards the bottom here and under there, just for a bit of shadow. And then those yellow bits, remember, it's not very detailed, like it doesn't have to be super detailed or anything. Get a little bit of brown on some of them. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to add some pink, just a little bit of lines to some of these petals, just to make it a little bit more detailed and like that. This one kind of folds up here. I'm just going to add a little bit of shadow. Some lines. Nothing too crazy. And then a little bit of green, I think, too. Just a little bit of green lines. Like that. And then just a little bit more on the leaves. And that's it. Honestly, I'm obsessed with this one. This one is so cool. But that's about it. Those are our tulips. So much fun to paint. I'm obsessed with all of them. This is definitely my favorite, I think, but so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and that's about it. Thank you all so much for watching my video. I really hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.